Welcome to Watermelon Channel. Today you will see what some of your favorite movie scenes look like without special effects. Click the subscribe button and let's get started. A giant, ominous tree monster is actually an animatronic creation used in many scenes from A Monster Calls. Electro and Spider-Man first face off in a grand Times Square sequence, which consisted of 300 shots and took a full year for the crew to do. The Times Square set was built in Gold Coast Studios, and using green screens, most of the scenes were digitally redesigned by computer. The photography and VFX team took over 36,000 photos of Times Square in order to recreate the location digitally.
You're not one of those cops that rides a horse. Go!
The director James Gunn originally didn't want to see Chris Pratt for the role. Chris got the audition only because Gunn's assistant insisted. Later, Gunn said that within 30 seconds, he knew the role was Pratt's. A lot of Peter Quill's iconic moments were improvised by Chris, according to the director. If you've seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2, then you know the sequel is filled with CGI. But what you may not realize is that the film made good use of its estimated $200 million budget, with plenty of practical effects too. The production crew built many of the sets you see in the final movie across 18 sound stages in Fayetteville, Georgia.
Okay, Baby Groot doesn't have the memories of adult Groot. He's a baby. The music that Tyler Bates played for this moment.
The story is absolutely his, but I feel like the character of Peter Quill is very much a collaboration.
In the fight scene between two Terminators, a stunt double was used as a stand-in to help with the choreography and the principal photography, and then was replaced with a CG version of a young Schwarzenegger.
I've been waiting for you.
And basically everyone has something to interact with.
Each other, and there's something just fun about watching these two things that have the massive Mack trucks going at each other.
In the final battle, Grace wraps a chain around the Rev 9's mouth and pulls his head backward, ripping his mouth open. Gabriel Luna did a lot of his own stunt work for the movie, but obviously, he could not perform this action in the photography. For this reason, the VFX team had to do a very accurate track so that they could do a CG takeover of Gabe's face. Superman makes every DC fan want to fly, but the secret to his flight ability is a combination of wires, tuning forks, and digital doubles.
It sound right, boy.
Beyond the scope of what is actually humanly possible.
And it's been great fun working with the guys, doing the wire work for hours on end, and all round.
But Russell Crowe had some real diving experience as they filmed the underwater scenes in a huge water tank.
From a certain point and then travel 60 miles going through specific motions and then return up to the top. It's a big breath required.
The mirror dimension is visually stunning to witness in Doctor Strange, but in moments such as this, it was just green screen for the actors. The camera angles and different types of shots that were used were also equally important in the scene. Coming in after the departure of Guillermo del Toro, Peter Jackson was thrust into the production without any prep time. Unlike Lord of the Rings, which was mapped out for 3.5 years, the Hobbit films were made on the fly, with the crew working day in and day out to deliver new costumes and set pieces each morning. Before filming commenced on day 266 of production for the Hobbit trilogy, Peter Jackson planned to only make 2 films total. It wasn't until deep into the process that he realized the extent of footage he had filmed. During production, he announced that the third act would receive its own release under the subtitle, The Battle of the 5 Armies. The majority of The Martian was filmed on indoor sets in Budapest, but many of the exterior shots on Mars were made in the Valley of the Moon in Jordan. About 4,000 tons of red soil was brought from local mines onto the set to get the perfect shot. All of the zero-gravity moments were created with stunt wire work. In order to reference what fighting in zero gravity would look like for the movie's final fight, the filmmakers actually shot screen tests with stuntmen on reduced gravity airplanes. Unfortunately, no actual zero gravity footage was used in the final film. Willem Dafoe only wanted to be in Spider-Man No Way Home if it was more than just a power cameo, and he wanted to be involved in all of the action and stunts.
And that's the dream.
And in the rehearsal, he starts doing the laugh and
And Jamie Foxx was promised he wouldn't be blue anymore as part of his return to Spider-Man.
Oh, shit.
Blue screen.
Shooting those is absolutely amazing. When they put you on those strings and fly you around is great.
The director of Uncharted thought about filming a cargo drop scene in a real plane in the sky, but ultimately shot the sequence on the ground in a parking lot. They had Tom Holland jumping between gyrating cargo boxes on set, hanging upside down from their straps, and being whacked around in the air by blue screen cubes and the front of a car for roughly 5 weeks. Tom himself has admitted that the stunts and action sequences in Uncharted were the biggest and hardest he has ever been a part of.
Welcome to a day in the life of Tom Holland on the set of Uncharted.
Due to the constant need for digital effects to distort the actors' physical appearances, such as the size of the Red Queen's head or Alice's height, the visual effects supervisor cited the film as being exhausting, saying it was the biggest challenge he's ever faced. Alice in Wonderland was the first movie Tim Burton filmed on a green screen. Many of the cast and crew felt nauseated as a result of the long hours surrounded by green, and Burton had lavender lenses fitted into his glasses to counteract the effect.
I mean, I've never worked on something that was such pieces of a puzzle. You know, we used so many different techniques that it really didn't manifest itself. Shots really didn't come in full till the very end.
Critics attacked various elements of Green Lantern, but almost all of them focused on the same point: the painfully substandard CGI. This is probably due to the fact that a lot of these CGI additions were pretty last minute. The supersuit worn by the hero was completely rendered by CGI, which was a big upset for Ryan Reynolds.
It's understandably skeptical, I think, at first about the idea of a computer-generated costume.
One of the biggest issues on set was safety, as there were many stunts that the crew needed to pull off. Ryan Reynolds did many of these stunts himself, which eventually led to a serious shoulder injury. A big fan of the original graphic novel series, Luc Besson wished to have made Valerian long back, but refrained from doing so. The Herculean task he faced was to create a film that has such a high alien-to-human ratio. When James Cameron's sci-fi epic Avatar released and revolutionized VFX and motion capture animation, Besson felt inspired to start with his vision too. In the fifth Pirates movie, Depp and Thwaites find themselves on a rowboat fending off some ghost sharks in the ocean. To bring the scene to life, the two had to balance themselves on a moving rowboat, floating high above the ground as they were surrounded by blue screens. Cleverly combining CGI and practical effects, the Dead Man's Chest team was able to release the Kraken. Visually, it's terrific to watch with the CGI effects and practical effects mixing together so well. The Slumberland team transformed the parking lot beside Woodbine Park into a huge movie set. Scenes were filmed with Jason Momoa and Marlo Barkley on safety cables atop the structure. Chris Hemsworth wasn't stoked with his performance in Thor: The Dark World. The actor revealed he was disappointed and didn't think he grew the character in any way. But Thor: Ragnarok gave him the opportunity to break the mold and be different, according to Chris himself. Valkyrie actress Tessa Thompson revealed that she channeled Linda Hamilton's Sarah Connor from Terminator 2 for her performance. While many parts of the ostrich chase scene were filmed in the California desert, the cast was shooting the rest of the movie in Hawaii. The only solution was to ship dune buggies and a massive rig to flip them around over to where production was being held. Here's how the cast was tumbling around and flipping upside down in front of a blue screen, which was then inserted into the desert footage. The bridge scene was by far the most complicated in the movie and introduced a wealth of visual effects. The VFX team had to handle the mind-blowing sequence, complete with bridges, mandrels, digi-doubles, live action, and rapid-paced three-dimensional action. The CG bridges were based purely off of the 3 practical bridges suspended on set.
I trust you, let's go. And she just ran. She just committed.
Oh, we should go! Oh!
The things that you can't see that...
One of the things Tom Holland loved most about Spider-Man: No Way Home was showing the darker side to Peter Parker in his scenes where he fights Green Goblin.
Some really fantastic fight stuff, and Tom Holland just absolutely did a fantastic job.
While the sequence inevitably contained CGI to insert the actors into the action, Furious 7 did drop real cars from planes. To replicate the free fall in a safe environment, the cars were rigged on a 360-degree gimbal surrounded by a blue screen. Vin Diesel grew concerned on set that Jason Statham was landing more hits against him than vice versa. He even suggested to the film's crew that each hit be assigned a number so that the amount of hits suffered by both men could be shared equally.
The scenes where we are intense with one another were not the most enjoyable.
Thank you for watching our video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and see you in the next one.